Sorry guys, I just got a little phone call. You know how that goes. So we were talking about the spooky scenes. I had some people's house that I would pass by every day on the way to work, and they would set up different scenes with skeletons. So that was their Halloween decor. There's a different scene every couple days. So we're thinking about doing it this year. If we do it, we'll definitely share it along the way so you guys can enjoy it too. Our neighborhood is very, like I said, whimsical, and they participate in spooky season. So I think having the two full-size skeletons in different scenes will be easy. You know, it will take a little bit of work to change the scenes up and stuff, but like I said, we're definitely gonna do a hula hoop scene. Maybe get them to do a cool trick, or like get one of the skeletons to be like jumping through the hula hoop. And then I'm definitely gonna do the do not open box. The skeletons were standing around the table, and there was a box on it that says do not open. And then a few days later, the box is open, and there is a ghost. The ghost has come out of the box, and the skeletons are running away. So that was probably one of the coolest scenes that these guys did. I figured that we could do the same with the box, do not open, and then when the skeletons open the box and the ghost pops out, and they're running away from the ghost. But then I also have like a jump rope. So I was thinking maybe we can get the ghost and the skeleton to become friends, and then they can jump rope. So that would be like the next day's scene. So it's just something fun and quirky, and it's really easy, you know, like doing fun stuff and being creative doesn't have to be expensive. So many people, you know, decorate for holidays and just overspend, when something like as simple as buying two 5-foot skeletons and putting them in different scenes in your yard can literally make people want to pass in front of your house just to see what's going on. When I tell you, like, I would anticipate and like be so excited to see if they had changed the scene that day. So like I said, it's something that we're gonna do this year. You need, depending on how many skeletons you want in your crew, we're probably going to do 2 instead of the 3 like the other people had done. I guess the 3 just gives, you know, you more scene options, but also a little bit more trouble. So we're going to do 2 skeletons. So if you can think of any like funny scenes to put the skeletons in our front yard for the neighbors to enjoy. We're going to do some workout scenes, maybe beer pong, the do not open box, then the ghost comes out, and then like I said, in our story we're gonna be like, okay, after they run away from the ghost, then the ghost and the skeletons become friends. So we'll do like a jump roping scene. Also, an easy way to make a ghost, you need a pair of boots, you need a noodle, like a pool noodle, and then a little styrofoam ball. And what you do is you'll put the noodle into the boots like in a U shape, connect the ball to the top of the noodle at that point, and then cover it with a sheet or something white, draw the little eyes, and there you go, you have a ghost. So technically we will have 3 things in our scene eventually, the 2 skeletons and then the ghost. So empty beer bottles by the skeletons. Yes, we thought about a drinking scene as well. Maybe like one of them's passed out, and the other one is still drinking. That's a good idea. I like that idea. But there's like, the opportunities really endless, and like I said, I will be sharing our scenes with y'all along the way. So stay tuned for that. And I'll kind of walk you through, you know, like the pros, the cons, the issues that we faced. So if you decide to do it, you can learn from our mistakes instead of trying to learn the hard way. You know how that goes. So I just thought it was such a cool idea. This was a couple years ago, and I've really never forgot about it. Like I still look in their yard, and that one day the skeletons will just pop back up and start doing their scenes again. So that's something that we're gonna do for this spooky season. I'm gonna get some lights to shine up so you can see the scenes. Like I said, there will be a hula hoop scene naturally. Hi everybody, thanks for joining. So we're just talking about things that we can do for spooky season. Like I said, I will be sharing that content with you guys along the way. I hope everyone had a good Labor Day if you had the day off. I recently went to Turks and Caicos, which is the most beautiful island in the whole world. They have the best beach in the world, Grace Bay Beach. And you know, when you think of Turks and Caicos, you're like, where the hell is that? It's actually traveling time. It's not that far. Depending, if you can get to a hub airport like Atlanta or in the Carolinas, then the travel time to Turks and Caicos is really not that far. The flight will be no more than 2 hours, your second flight. You do have to have a passport. It is a British territory, so you do have to have a passport. But if you get, the hotels are overpriced, but if you get an Airbnb like we did, I just posted the video this weekend, so if y'all want to check it out, we stayed at a place called TC Villas, and we had an entire condo to ourselves with a private pool, and the prices really weren't that bad considering. You will pay more to go to Turks and Caicos naturally than you will to, you know, a small like Destin beach trip. I say that, but the condos are very expensive in Destin as well. But even if you have to save up for 2 years, I highly recommend going to Turks and Caicos. You will never see anything like it again in your life. The beaches, the water was like so crystal clear, beautiful shades of blue and green. We did a lot of snorkeling. The snorkeling is really unmatched in the middle of the ocean. We stayed off of Smith's Reef, which is connected to Turtle Cove, and the snorkeling, we went snorkeling on an excursion, but the snorkeling did not compare on the excursion as it did to literally in our backyard. I left all the information on my video on where we stayed. I would highly recommend it if you do enjoy snorkeling, specifically because that area was the snorkeling hotspot. People would just walk past that was literally the only traffic on the beach as well, which is like, how is that even possible? But the through traffic would just go up the beach and they would ride the current back down. We ran into multiple turtles. When I tell you guys, like, so majestic in the water and so beautiful. That was definitely not what we were expecting to be the highlight of our trip, but it ended up being the highlight of our trip. So go check out my video, guys. I would really appreciate that. Get some inspiration for your next trip. You know, I always tell my parents, like, we don't have to travel to the same places. Like, every year we go to Destin, we go to Destin, we go to Destin, and it's like, let's try something else. So every year we've been going somewhere different. Since then, I've gotten them to go to Oklahoma. You know, just other places, like other places that are beautiful, that are different, just something fun. So if you haven't ever looked into Turks and Caicos, I would definitely look into it. Check out my video, see it for yourself. You'll absolutely fall in love with the place. Like, we are already thinking about going back, like literally. All of our friends are like, oh my god, where was this? How much was this? Like, it's just, it is the place to go on vacation. So then I worked on that video the beginning of the weekend, so I did get that out. So go check it out. And then for our skeleton scenes for spooky season, make sure you're liked and subscribed so you can keep up with that. And like I said, we can kind of show you the ropes as we go, learn through trial and error. And then we made the coolest hula hoops this weekend, guys. I had some spray paint. I'm one of the only hoop makers that paints hoops for the most part when you buy a hula hoop from a small business, not from you know, the big stores, from Etsy or some small business. The tubing will either be bare and colored, or you can get it in clear or white as well. That's what most people use because the tape eventually does go, it eventually starts to peel from, you know, the hoop hitting the ground, especially around concrete. So you always want to keep your tape tubes away from concrete as much as possible. So they're either usually bare or taped. Well, my shop provides painted hoops. Sometimes they're hand painted, sometimes they're spray painted, sometimes it's a combination of the two. So we worked on a really cool batch. We had some neon fluorescent black light responsive colors, so that's what we used. And we figured it would be a good time because, you know, it is getting to the end of summer, but Halloween is coming up, so a lot of people do use black lights for Halloween and stuff like that. So I can't wait to share with you guys. We did tape it. We didn't go live, but we did tape it, so I will be sharing it with you guys once. So after the hoops are painted, that's really kind of the easy part. Now I have to go and assess them one by one, make sure the color is where I want it to be. Then one by one I'll also have to clear tape them. So that is a labor of love when you're dealing with 10 plus hoops. So it will take me a little time. I'm due one tonight just to see what they look like, and I'll share it with you guys, so stay tuned for that. But I'm really excited about this batch. I think they came out really cool. Me and the hubby collaborated on them, so that might be one of that, you know, that's something I could do. Maybe get a black light for the skeleton scenes in the front yard, and like get like some black light responsive props. Like I said, if you guys have any ideas for, okay, this is the scene. It's gonna be a front yard for spooky season, and your decorations are only gonna entail 2 skeletons, and eventually we'll add a ghost to the mix. Okay, the first scene will be a table with a box on it that says "Do not open," and the skeletons are around the table looking at the box like, oh man, should we open it? Well, then a couple days later, the box is open, skeletons are running away, and a ghost has popped out of the box. So that was one of the scenes from the house that I got the idea from, which I thought was like so funny because I was curious about what was in the box too. And then whenever I passed and I saw that they were running from the ghost, I was like, that is freaking hilarious. So we're gonna use that scene for sure. Then I'm gonna think of something where, like, okay, the ghost made friends with the skeletons, and there'll be a jump rope scene where the ghost will be jump roping and the skeletons will be holding the jump rope. And then I guess we can add the ghost throughout the scenes when we need maybe an extra person. So if anyone has any ideas, like what would be a cool scene, like I said, we saw a picnic scene, we saw some workout scenes, thriller, like that would be a good one. And then, you know, like anything that we can put around it to really make it pop. I'm thinking 2 spotlights personally. I'm really not 100% sure, but I think it's going to be a fun thing. We're going to give them some hula hoops. My original thought was to get the skeletons to do a different hoop trick every day. like maybe just get one and get it to do like a chest roll or waist hooping, or you know, something with the hands. But my idea has evolved. I figured people would enjoy the scenes more, so we will be sharing that with you guys as we do it, as we set them up, what we learn throughout. So if you guys ever want to implement it and do it yourself, then you'll have that as a base point to avoid the mistakes that we'll potentially run into. Is anyone else decorating for Halloween or getting ready for Halloween, whether it's your costumes or maybe having a Halloween party that you're thinking about? Spooky season has gotten so big recently, and when I say recently, I mean over the last 10 years, I guess. Like, it used to be like, okay, yay, it's Halloween. Now everyone's like, oh my god, it's Halloween. It's like one of the favorite holidays, which I'm not complaining about. People love to order like custom hula hoops from me for Halloween. Like, say if you have a certain costume and you can't find the perfect hoop for it, just let me know and I will do everything that I can to make it happen for you. Say you're gonna be, I don't know, the Powder Puff Girls, and you want a specific color and you want it to be sparkly, or just can't find exactly what you need. I even did last year. I never really posted it. I have it for myself. It is a coin flip, so it's black on one side and then it's white on the opposite side, white reflective. So that one came out really cool. I just ordered tubing. I didn't even think about ordering black tubing, but I do have a fresh order coming in with glow-in-the-dark tubing, which is really, really cool. It's like a lighter green color, like a lot of the glow-in-the-dark stuff is. The more sun exposure or light exposure, the brighter it'll glow. So say you do have a Halloween party and you want the glow-in-the-dark hoop to really pop, then leave it out in the sun, let it charge up. Something with the light charges up the tubing and makes it glow more. I also have UV orange coming in, because orange is a hot color around this time. And then I have all of my beginner favorites coming in. Everyone's really loving my solid state taped beginner hoops. And I thought about this from the beginning. Like, when I first started hooping, I remember being like, oh, I love colors. More color, the better for me. But I hated that the beginner hoops, you look different from all the other hoopers. Like, everyone else pretty much had a solid hoop if they had any experience. So the spiral kind of gave you away that you were a new hooper for the most part. And so whenever I started designing hula hoops, that was one of the first beginner hoops that I made. I was like, let's do, it's a deco tape, it's a pretty tape, like the shiny tapes that are glittery and just multicolored, some of them. Well, then I did that along with the best matching grip tape, so your hoop still looks solid state in color to a certain extent. And when I tell you I can't keep up with the demand, like I just keep buying more and more tape. I'm sure the hoop supplier is going to eventually run out of these tapes because they are so popular. So I do love that everyone loves that idea. So I have that posted at the top of my Etsy. You can also find me on my website. I think honestly, I think today, if I remember right, the way that I set the Labor Day sale, a lot of the stuff on my website, not on Etsy, but on my website, will still be on sale. So go check out my website, www.idreamofhoops.com.co, add something to your cart and see if that discount is still working, because I'm pretty sure it is. And then that's your motivation right there to grab your hoop, change your life, and get started with us on this hoop journey. We're also learning about nutrition along the way. So we've gone over all of the major vitamins besides vitamin K. So we're going to be going over vitamin K this week, and then I'm going to kind of try to loop it all together for you guys. We're going to have a video on what are the most nutritious fruits and vegetables, and how to get a good balanced diet at the grocery store. We're going to make it where it's more easy to implement versus just receiving the information. So stay tuned for that. And then I will be sharing the video of us producing the hula hoops that we made this weekend in all of the blacklight responsive colors. So that'll be fun. Oh yes, we need some pumpkins for our scene. Duh. We do like, I don't know, maybe like a pumpkin food fight. But I started to do some research this weekend. A lot of people have done the skeleton scenes, so there are a bunch of ideas out there. I would love to hear some ideas from you guys though. Maybe like the skeletons are fighting in the front yard, or I mean, we're even gonna have them with us when we're passing out candy, naturally, you know, so everyone can meet the skeletons that they've been watching all week and month. You know, we're gonna do it for at least a month. So we thought it was just a cool idea. It's really cute. Our neighbors give us some stiff competition in the decorating department, so I think everyone's just going to be thrilled with it, to be honest with you. And we're excited to share it with our neighborhood, because where I picked up the idea from wasn't our neighborhood. So like I said, I really just wanted to share it with anyone. So I'm going to share it with you guys, and we're going to share it with our neighbors and see how everyone enjoys it. So any skeleton scenes, anything funny that you guys can think of, just comment, leave it down in the comments. You can comment on any of my videos and let me know, hey, this is a funny skeleton scene, or this would be a good idea. We always love your input. The more brains together, the better. That's how we get our creative juices flowing sometimes, is a little nudge from someone else. So no idea is too small. All ideas are important, and collaboration is the key to long-term success. You always want to be open to collaborating with people, helping them or them helping you. You want it to go both ways. You don't want to just be receiving or giving. It's all about being a good person and doing what's right for not only yourself but for your community. You want to be a good team leader. A good Native American saying is that you always want to give more to the earth than you take, and that's something that we can learn in America. Say you are digging a pond, okay, and you have to dig the dirt out of the land, so you're taking something. Well, after your pond is dug, why don't you grow some trees around it? Plant some trees, grow some trees around it. Like, that is the beautiful give and take of the world. You know, if we just keep taking, then there'll be nothing left to give. So that's why it's so important to, for it to go both ways. You should get pleasure from helping people. It shouldn't be a sacrifice. It is a gift to be able to help people. And I don't know, it's just in my nature that I always want to help whenever I can. My job requires a lot of giving, and sometimes I feel like I overgive and people take too much from me, but that's just part of my job. So you got to roll with the punches, keep it moving, keep a positive attitude. And like I said, I hope everyone had a great Labor Day. If you had the day off, we need to try to vote for more weekends like this, 4 work days, 3 weekend days. That is ideal. We would all love that, right? 5 work days a week is for the birds, but until we can get that issue fixed, we got to keep rolling with it. Hopefully find success in our days and just make them worth our while. You know, it's like, make your work day worth your while, do the best that you can, provide the best service. Good service is so hard to find, guys, and just good help. You know, like, you just want to treat people like they're human, whether you're behind the counter or in front of the counter. That's how I always say it. It's like, I don't care what walk of life you come from, but if you walk in and you treat me like I'm human, and not like someone who's supposed to serve you, then I will treat you the same way. You know, like, it isn't about class or social scores. It really is just about going out there and being a good person and being kind to everyone that you run into, because you don't know, like, say you see someone at the store that looks disheveled, maybe one shoe on, like, you don't know what got them there. You know, like, everyone assumes this, assumes that, but everyone, even if they make bad choices in life, some people have harder paths than others. So that's why it's so important to be kind and to be open and to not prejudge people. You know, some of the people that you would judge immediately visually are some of the kindest people in the world. So that's your loss. You know, if you choose to not treat them like a person, then they'll probably do the same because they get it all the time. Like, why wouldn't you want to be that one exception to the rule to make them feel good and to make them feel human, you know? So always just treat everyone, no matter what they look like, with respect. Then start reacting off of the way that they speak to you. If they don't speak to you well, they don't treat you well, then they don't deserve your kindness. And that's just kind of the give and take of life. And I hope everybody has a great day.